Alright guys, my young students, making this video so you can go ahead and get prepared on what we're going to be doing in class tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be starting our new unit on the Western African empires. We've got Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, and we're going to be doing things a little bit different tomorrow. We're not going to have a whole lot of time in class, so I'm going to go ahead and explain what we're doing now, so when you walk into class tomorrow you'll be ready to go. So we're starting on the Western African empires. And instead of me just getting up and lecturing to you or showing you a presentation, I'm going to let you guys teach your fellow classmates. I know that sounds a little terrifying, but don't worry, I'll explain exactly what we're going to do. And I'll also give you a little bit of background information on the empires now in this video. I'll have a few questions at the end. I'll probably have 5 questions for you at the end, and that'll be your homework. Turn those in at the beginning of class, just drop them in the homework file, and then be ready to go. So, let me go ahead and explain what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Alright, so what are we going to be doing in class tomorrow? What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break you guys up into 3 different groups. And each one of these groups is going to have one of the different empires. One group's going to have Mali, one's going to have Ghana, and one's going to have Songhai. So when you come in tomorrow, the desks are going to be arranged a little bit differently. They're already going to be grouped together. Look at the board, look for your name and the number next to your name, then find that numbered desk, and that's going to be your group. So instead of coming in and sitting in your regular desk, go ahead, look where you're sitting, and go ahead and get into your groups and be ready to go, because we're not going to have a lot of time. What we're going to do, after you get in your groups, I'm going to pass out to each different group information about each of your assigned empires. Then you're going to get a piece of poster board. And what you're going to do is you're going to design a poster that includes that information about your empire, and you can decorate it, put as much art on there as you want to in the time frame. What we're going to do is we're going to go for about 20, maybe 25 minutes and let you design your poster. Make sure it has the information on the sheet that I give you. Now, why do you need to put that on there? Each group is going to have one of the different empires, and we're going to have a worksheet that has all of the different empires on it. And from each group's poster, this is how you're going to fill out your worksheet, and this is how you're going to get the information to study for the test. So if you don't do a good enough job in putting information on your poster, your classmates are going to miss out, and they're not going to get the information also. So make sure you include everything that I give you on that poster, and then you can decorate it as much as you want in the time frame. We'll go 20, maybe 25 minutes depending on how well you're doing. Now at the end of that time, what we'll do is we'll hang all of those posters up, and they'll spend maybe 5 minutes. Each group is going to go to another group's poster, and that's how you're going to fill out your information worksheet. That's how you're going to get your information from each group's poster. That'll probably be about 3 or 4 minutes on each poster, so don't waste any time when you're up and looking at them. Write down what you need to write down, and we'll move on. So we're not going to have a lot of time. So remember, come into class, find your name, find your desk, go ahead and get started. Get everything you need, markers, colored pencils, something to write with. I'll pass you your information, and get started making your poster. The quicker you do it, the more time you'll have to decorate, and then that'll save you time when it comes time to go around and get the information for your worksheet. Alright guys, so now you see what we're going to be doing in class tomorrow. You can probably tell that's going to take a lot of time. That's going to take most of the class period, so we're not going to have a lot of time for much else. So it's important that when you get to class tomorrow, you come in, you find your seat, you get with your group, and you get right to work. This way you have plenty of time to do everything. But since we're not going to have a lot of time for much else, I'm going to go ahead and give you some background knowledge on each of these different empires. And also what I've done, I've posted on our class page a Google Doc. It's got 5 questions that I want you to answer for homework. You can get all these answers from the information I'm about to give you. And this is just going to be a brief background. We'll get more in depth tomorrow during our project. So answer those questions after this video. You can just send me the link. I'll grade it that way, or if you want to print it out, that's fine, and drop it in the homework basket. It's up to you. So we're going to start with Ghana. Alright, so the first empire we're going to talk about is Ghana. And Ghana was an empire from roughly the year 300 to the year 1200. Its capital was Kumbasala. Now, Ghana grew wealthy primarily through their tax system. They placed taxes on imports and exports, and the main resources they taxed were gold and salt. These were important because that's what they mined. Now, their government was set up similar to the government we have here in the United States today, to where the king ruled one central government, but Ghana was surrounded and comprised of different vassal states. Basically what that is all of those different states had their own leaders, but they all still answered to the king. As far as their religion goes, initially they practiced traditional African religions, but eventually Islam moved into Ghana and became the predominant religion. And finally, in their decline, their money ran out, and the next empire we're going to talk about, Mali, came in and conquered them. So now that we talked about Ghana, let's talk a little bit about Mali. Mali was an empire from 1235 to roughly 1670. It was in West Africa again, and their capital was Niani, and eventually it got moved to Kangaba. Now, three important resources that Mali had that made their wealth grow was one, gold. They had three huge gold mines throughout their empire. The second one was salt. This was important because salt helped them preserve their food. It was especially important to the southern part of the empire because it was mined in the north. So they'd mine it up north, and they'd ship it south, and they'd also ship it to the rest of the world. The third one was copper. Copper was almost as valuable as gold, and they used this as far as their military. They used it for their weapons and their armor, that sort of thing. Now, how did they trade all of these different goods? Well, they traded them on the trans-Saharan trade route. They used the camels, and they went across the desert. They went into northern Africa. They went into Egypt, and that's how they got to the different ports and were able to trade their goods. Now, one important ruler that we want to talk about in Mali was Mansa Musa. He was the first of the great kings of the empire. He ruled for roughly 25 years, and basically he's the one who introduced Islam into the empire. He pushed out the traditional African religions, and he introduced Islam. All right, so the last empire we're going to talk about is Songhai. Songhai was an empire from 1464 to 1591. Its capital was Gao, and you can see it spelled out here. Now, the first leader of Songhai was Soni Ali. And Soni Ali was described as very much a tyrant. When he conquered Mali, he was very cruel to the conquered people, and basically a tyrant in every sense of the word. He pushed the Muslim religion and made a lot of reforms as far as the religion goes in bringing Islam in. Now, they traded a bunch of different goods as far as their economy went, of course, with gold. They took over the gold mines, and then also various different goods. The important thing to remember about Songhai is in their economy, they set up a clan system, kind of like unions today, to where if you were a fisherman, you belonged to the fisherman clan. If you were a carpenter, you belonged to the carpentry clan. Another great thing we want to talk about with Songhai was their criminal justice system. They introduced a series of penalties. It was under the Islamic Sharia law, so they were very much big also into Islam. All right, that's the background information you need. Answer the 5 questions and turn them in. Send me that link, however you want to do it. I will see you in class tomorrow. Be ready to work.